Today is Tuesday, June 12th, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On today's show, we learn more about two events that the Hyannis Chamber is sponsoring. We get a first look of one of the public art sculptures for the walkway to the sea, and have our first conversation with the new Barnstable Chief of Police. First, a look at today's weather. Mostly sunny skies through the day, turning breezy as we push through midday and into the afternoon. After a cool early morning, look for daytime highs in the 60s to lower 70s. Southwest winds increasing to 10 to 20 miles per hour with some higher gusts. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, not as chilly, with temperatures generally in the 50s to around 60s. Perfect weather for growing tomatoes. Let's start with some news you can use. The Town of Barnstable Department of Public Works and Planning and Development invite the community to a listening session on proposed roadway, streetscape, and intersection improvements in Hyannis East End. The meeting will be held at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, June 14th at the Barnstable Town Hall, 367 Main Street, Hyannis. Refreshments will be provided. The meeting is to provide interested individuals an opportunity to share their thoughts about roadway, streetscape, and intersection design in the following areas: Hyannis Main Street from Center Street to the Yarmouth Town Line, including the intersections of Main and Center Streets and Main Street, Lewis Bay Road; Old Colony Boulevard between Main Street and South Street, the intersection of South Street, Old Colony, Ocean Street. The roadway and streetscape improvement project aims to improve the mobility of all roadway users, including pedestrians, improve access to the area, support existing businesses and new economic growth, and enhance the appearance of the area. The Barnstable Town Council ratified the selection of Chief Sonnabend by unanimous vote at last Thursday's Town Council meeting. Chief Matthew K. Sonnabend was sworn into office by Town Clerk and Ann Quirk this Friday morning at a ceremony in front of the Barnstable Police Station. Congratulations, Chief. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. Still not used to that yet.
We're not used to it either. First off, a hearty congratulations from all of us here at Channel 18. We're overjoyed that we get to continue to talk to you, and hopefully we remember it's Chief now instead of Deputy Chief. But
well, I appreciate it. It's really nice talking to you guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So you had a community event this past weekend with Habitat for Humanity. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. One of our officers, Nelson Souve, has been speaking speaking with one of the COM firefighters, Senator Officer of Washington Snow, by the name of Gus Riley. And it turned out that Habitat for Humanity was building some houses over in Marston Mills and was looking for some help. So Nelson asked a bunch of us if we asked a bunch of people here at work if they were interested in coming out. And there was about a half a dozen officers that went out there. Town Councilor Paula Schnepp was out there, and we helped raise the walls of 4 new houses in that community, which was actually excellent. I'd never actually been to one before. It was quite an experience, and I was very impressed by how many people actually got there. It was very tough to find a place to park. I had to walk a distance to get there. And once you got there, just how many people, how heavy those walls were, but had enough people just to lift them up with their bare hands and push them into place while professional carpenters and builders hammered them in place and locked them down so they would fall back over on us.
Yeah, I've actually been to a couple of those Habitat wall raises, and it's amazing how it goes up. And
it is, I mean, sometimes you go around, it seems hard to find people to come to do anything, but there were so many people there, from builders to people that were having the houses built, their families, other people that had houses built, so they came back to help, and then you just had just people from the community that heard about it, and showed up, and wanted to help. It was pretty cool.
So we got some walls going up, and then we have a lot clearing at Barnstable Police Department, huh?
Yeah. I mean, if you drive by 132 there for a while, it was tough to tell that there was actually a building here because, the underbrush had grown up and the trees and everything. And one of our officers, Travis Brown, took it upon himself to organize volunteers, again, people that work here. There were people in the community, professional landscapers, and mostly the guys that work here went out and cleared the brush and hauled trash, laid wood chips, and professional landscapers came in and helped with equipment and the chipping of wood and other things that just we couldn't do with our own equipment here, and really spiffied the place up. It was awesome. People just coming in on their day off and time off they've had, and Travis has been here like every day on his off-duty time. He's even brought his kids here and cleaning stuff up, cutting branches, moving trash, just cleaning. Just picking up the morale and really putting a coat of polish on the place. It's been awesome. I've been truly impressed.
Great. And talking about putting polish on the place, as new chief, you're going to have a couple of initiatives. So we'll be talking about those as we have our weekly Tuesday talks. But anything on your mind right off the bat to tell the community?
Right now, I think the big worry is, what's going to happen. Everyone anticipates that there's going to be some major change or some seismic shift in what we do. And realistically, the summertime is not the time for a huge change. We are going to continue to do what we do. The programs are going to be in place. We just put a new supervisor in for the Community Impact Unit. The CSOs are out there. We're going to be doing many of the same things we've done in the past this summer. And as we go through the summer, obviously, this is my third day sitting in the big chair, taking a little bit of time, listening to the staff that works here, listening to the community, and kind of identifying maybe not what we, necessarily anything new, but maybe what we could do just a little bit differently or a little bit better, or just, like you said, put a little more polish on it and maybe a little bit of elbow grease into it and freshen it up a little bit. But as we go forward, maybe we're going to identify some new things we might want to do or some new areas we want to address, and among them, like school safety. We're going to sit down and talk with the school department and the town and the school committee and identify what everyone thinks is a good approach to that. But it's going to take some conversation and, not just us, but other people in the community sitting down and talking about things.
Well, we look forward to those conversations, and I know you'll include us in them. So
absolutely.
Well, let's get on with that third day in that big chair.
Well, I'll do my best.
All right.
I will definitely enjoy this day, and you guys have a great day over there at Channel 18 as well.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, have a great day.
You too. We talked with Todd DeLuca, president of the Greater Hyannis Chamber of Commerce, about 2 events coming up. One has been around for 24 years, and another will have its first community meeting. What's a sure sign of summer in Barnstable? Well, it's the Hyannis Father's Day Car Show. With me today, Todd DeLuca, President and CEO of the Hyannis Chamber. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, before we get to the car show, because that's going to be a lot of different things we'll talk about, let's talk about a new initiative for the Hyannis Chamber of keeping Hyannis beautiful. This is a new chapter of a Massachusetts organization that the Chamber has adopted.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, trash has been in the news lately, and I think that keeping Hyannis beautiful supports our tourism industry. We don't want people coming to Hyannis and not finding it beautiful, of course. We have beautiful outdoors that need to shine when people are here. So what we did is we thought, why don't we start a chapter of it's actually 2 steps down from Keep America Beautiful. You might remember when we were younger, there was a commercial of an American Indian in a canoe, and he was sort of looking at all the trash around, and a single tear just came down his eye, right? And it really, I think, encouraged a lot of people to go out and clean up and to stop just looking at trash that's on the ground and walking by it. And so from there came Keep Massachusetts Beautiful, and that's run out of Mansfield, and every year they do a town cleanup and have about 600 residents participate. And they started a bunch of local chapters, and we're the first chamber to have a chapter of Keep This Beautiful, and it's Keep Hyannis Beautiful. And I think I talked to the executive director of Keep Massachusetts Beautiful, and he felt that the reason more chambers don't get involved is sometimes they don't see the connection between business and a clean environment. And they think that, you know, the people who focus on environmental issues are oftentimes just tree huggers or really not interested in the other parts of our ecosystem. But it's not true, especially not true in Hyannis. A clean, beautiful Hyannis is really good for business, I think. And I think our members feel that way as well. They were really supportive of us starting this chapter.
Right. So you had an event with the Sturgis kids for the IB class that they needed a community service project, and that was out in our town green where they had some pizza and lunch. Tell us a little bit about that event.
Well, that was a bit opportunistic because they were doing this outreach, so we thought, well, we'll start, but you know, it's hard to get the word out that we're doing this and get people to participate. So we had 50 kids, you know, consigned to come and help us. So we thought, what a great way to get started. We also had Commercial Realty participate, a few other businesses, the Citizens Cooperative, and a few others. The Barnstable Fire Department, the police participated, and they came in and just went up and down South Street, North Street, Old Colony, and a bit on Calmus Beach to pick up trash. And they came back with, I don't know, 20 or 30 bags of trash. But they were great to work with. We got pizza for them for lunch, so I think it was a win-win.
And June 13th, you're going to have a kickoff committee meeting that anybody can come and learn and kind of get involved, right?
Right. Although this is a committee of the Chamber, we're inviting all residents, whether you're a member or not, to join us on the 13th at 5 o'clock at the Chamber offices to be a sort of a founding member of Keep Hyannis Beautiful. And we're having the executive director from Keep Massachusetts Beautiful is coming into town to speak to us about what makes an effective chapter, how we can get community involvement, and how we can go about keeping the town clean, and the village clean. And it's really a few things. You know, it's about picking up the trash. It's about educating people about not littering, which you wouldn't think you have to do, but you still do. And it's about enforcing the ordinances that we have not to litter. And we really have to approach it with those 3 prongs to make it effective.
Right. Yeah. And the streets really need to be beautiful, especially for Father's Day Car Show, which is the 16th, coming up really quickly. It's, I think, one of the first signs of summer in my mind, where Main Street closes down. And how many cars we have this year?
Well, we have 350 cars registered for the car show this year, which is, I think, a full complement. Okay. It's actually on the 17th.
17th, I'm sorry.
Father's Day. But the 16th, we do have our VIP event.
Okay.
So it will be from Ocean Street in Maine down to C Street in Maine. And in planning for it, we worked with the police department and the fire department to make sure that everyone is safe. We have 12 entry points into the car show. The cars start lining up at 6 a.m. In the North Street parking lot, and then we have a bunch of volunteers that help direct them onto Main Street. But it's not easy to get 350 cars onto Main Street and parked, and everybody in just the spot they love.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because a lot of it's not even parallel parking. They're coming in on an angle,
Right,
and they've got to
right.
get their coolers and their seats all set up, because
Right.
these guys are in that hot sun usually for hours.
Right, right.
So that's a really great event that the Chamber's put on for, what is it, 24 years?
24 years, yeah.
24 years. Family friendly, right? Lots of things?
Always family friendly,
Right.
lots to do. Of course, the craft show goes on simultaneously on the town green, so if you're not into cars but you're into crafts, you can go to the town green and see what regional artisans have for sale this year. We will have a few different trucks that the youngsters can check out from the police department. I think the SWAT truck's going to be there that they can check out.
Oh, like the touch-a-truck
Yeah,
kind
like
of
a
stuff. That's
touch-a-truck
great.
thing.
That's fantastic. We're going to have a beautiful, sunny, hot day. I'm just going to say that right now.
Thank you very much.
There's not going to be there won't be a cloud in the sky. So the Father's Day car show is a fairly big undertaking for the Chamber. Why do you guys do this year after year?
Well, the car show was started 24 years ago, and I can't name all the founding members because I'm relatively new, but Hank Farnham was one of them. And it was started for two reasons. One was to bring people to Main Street to help support the businesses, and they always envisioned being able to raise money and give it to a charity from this event as well. So this year, actually, we're asking everyone who goes to the car show to drop $1 in one of the tires at the entry point, and that's going to go to support a project that we're planning called the Young Entrepreneurs Academy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
interesting. I'm going to have you come back
Yeah.
and talk a lot more about that, but tell us briefly what the Entrepreneurs Academy might be.
Well, basically, it is a program for students between 13 and 18 to attend a 9-month academy put on by local area business leaders about starting a business. And at the end of the academy, they have a legally operating business. And the reason it's important for our area is entrepreneurism really needs to be a career consideration for people who want to spend their life on the Cape. Right. And so we want to show young people that you can be an entrepreneur, and this is how you do it. I think people who want to start businesses, young people or even older people, think it's this very difficult thing and who could ever figure it out. Well, it's not that difficult. It's risky, but it's just not that difficult.
Right. Excellent. So we have the Keep Hyannis Beautiful, June 13th at 5:30?
5 o'clock
5 o'clock, and that's going to be where?
at the chamber office.
At the Chamber office?
356 South Street.
356. And then on the 17th, Father's Day, 24th Annual, starts at...
Starts at 8:30 in the morning and goes
8:30.
till 2:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
And it ends with the parade down Main Street of all the cars leaving.
Right.
Quietly.
And quietly, right. Yeah, they're not so quiet. And then the evening before, you have the welcome reception on the 16th for folks as well.
Right. The welcome
Right.
reception's at Whack and Hammers this year. And we will have Main Street closed between High School and Bassett. And there'll be like a mini car show. So if people can't make it Sunday, or if they want a little extra, they can come to this event and view the cars that will be parked between that one block. And this is really the annual meeting of the Cape Cod Classic Cars Club out of Dennis. So really people interested in cars and so open to talk with people about their hobby.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us today and giving us the lowdown on this. And it's going to be sunny.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Todd. The Mid-Cape Cultural Council, a committee of the town of Barnstable, is in the final stages of raising funds to be matched by Mass Development for a public art project along the walkway to the sea. We met one of the sculptures, bird carver Robert Kaiser, and got a first look at the Turn, Turn, Turn prototype and learned more about how the community can help get this project completed. Excuse me, it's Eric Kaiser, not Robert Kaiser. Connecting Main Street to the waterfront, public art is on the rise in our community and others across the Commonwealth. The Mid-Cape Cultural Council, a Council here at the town of Barnstable is endeavoring to create public art all along the walkway to the sea. With me today, one of the artists, Eric Kaiser. How are you?
Good, good.
That's good. So this art project, we'll get into what the art is. We have a beautiful rendition of it here between us. But first off, tell me a little bit about yourself and your art.
My background is in wildfowl carving, which is bird carving. Okay. It's an American art form, as American as jazz and apple pie. And the Cape is actually one of the epicenters of bird carving.
Really?
Starting with decoys that were used as a utilitarian, it was a folk art. And with the conservation efforts of President Woodrow Wilson back in 1917-18, conservation laws were signed that eliminated the market for decoy makers, making pieces out of wood, and they became decorative carvers, and that's what I do. What I do is not only an art form, but it's almost more a technical, scientific art, too, because they're actually models of, highly accurate models, which are textured and painted to be quite realistic.
Wow. So as this type of artist, public art, I don't think a lot of folks understand really what public art is. There's been a resurgence of it over the years. It's not just a statue that sits in the middle of a sidewalk. Public art is meant to engage people and to let them kind of explore different types of art. This particular project, why did you get involved in this?
I thought it would be fun to give a little bit back to my town. It's certainly not an income-producing project for me. And it would be just fun to try something a little different to see how public art works. I've only done a few museum projects and that sort of thing. But as far as going through the whole process of the town and the government structures and the funding and all that goes on, I thought it'd be a learning experience. And this, of course, can't be made out of wood since it's an outdoor sculpture, so I'm going to get involved in casting this in bronze or stainless steel, still to be determined. Right. And it's just a new experience. Nothing out of my realm, but a few little new twists and turns there, and as you get older, your art becomes more routine every day. It's more of a discipline than as creative as people think it is. Yeah. And so this is something a little different, and I had a good idea. This is a sculpture that I've done life-size and miniatures a number of times, and I've simplified this quite a bit. And the reason it's turning is, I guess we're going to get into that, and you'll explain in a minute.
So obviously there were requests for proposals for this particular art project. The Mid-Cape Cultural Council had some monies to begin the project. They're now in a fundraising mode to get matching funds from Mass Development, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But you came in with this amazing sculpture called Turn, Turn, Turn. So turn, T-U-R-N, turn, T-E-R-N, turn, T-U-R-N. Tell us a little bit of the idea, and obviously you've put a lot of work into the model as well.
This isn't a lot of work for me. This is a quickie.
That's a quickie, okay. So tell me how you came up with this idea and what you expect people to interact with.
What I want people to interact with the most is, well, first of all, the reason we did this is to make something not only to enhance the walkway, but also to be fun and to bring more people down there. We're talking about Azleton Park, which is south of South Street, across the street from Town Hall. As you go catty corner, you'd be walking between the Armory and Geyer Barn on the right and the Maritime Museum on the left, and you go down to this beautiful spot towards the lobster pots, and if you kept going, you'd go past Wimpy's, or Spanky's,
Yeah.
And then on to the artist shanties. So that's where it is, and so we wanted to enhance that experience, and this is one of the three ideas. We also have a contemporary sculpture, an abstract, which you can lean on and look through, and another sculpture, which will be sort of a seesaw thing, a lot of fun to deal with the theme-oriented seesaw.
Yeah, all towards the waterfront and the history of Hyannis and the harbor.
Right.
So
this is a little more formal, except for the fact that when you walk up to it, you'll be able to push it and make it move into flight. And I think that's kind of neat. It'll be fun to do. It's going to be a big, heavy bronze structure. Usually, this is a static sculpture, and here you go, and you end up turning this thing. So that's going to give you a sense of empowerment. But the other thing is, and you see this mistake made all the time, is we're dealing with sculpture. Sculpture is meant to be three-dimensional, and I can guarantee you can go to almost any major museum, and they have the sculptures pushed back to the wall. And it drives me crazy, because as a sculptor, we try and make something that's beautiful from all angles. If I go slowly, this will change. Especially, this is a color version, that's still to be determined. But you'll see the birds completely change, and each perspective, since they're beautiful forms in nature, is also another beautiful sculpture in its own right.
Yes, and I love terns. I love to see them in flight.
The
They're so
most
graceful.
beautiful thing in nature, I think. Just the tern wing is spectacular, and the complexity of the structures, it's something else.
Right. So all of these will be available as folks walk down the walkway to the sea. They'll be able to interact with each of these. You're working together with two other artists that are well known, that are members of the community as well.
Slightly different disciplines, right?
Slightly different disciplines, but I think
three very different takes on public art.
Yeah. So I think this is a great idea. And one of the things that we know of right now is that the Mid-Cape Cultural Council is a full-on press to get this funded. Anybody can go to their Facebook page and look up how to help them fund this project. It is being kind of like what we call crowdsourced right now. So there's the ability for Massachusetts Development to fund half of this if they meet their crowdsourced goal, which I think is a great way to have the public get involved, and then have some state funds and some town funds come in and actually make this a reality. So anything else you want to kind of talk about a little bit on this project? I love, when I was on the Mid-Cape Cultural Council as a board member, I really loved this sculpture. I just thought this was, especially the interactive piece of it, you know, showing the birds in flight was amazing.
Well, the engineering is going to be quite a lot of fun, and I found the bearings involved in everything and a lot of the materials. But of course, we'll have to work through with the town engineer, and how do we make this resistant to graffiti, and are people going to sit on it, and is it safe, and lots of things to think about. And it's a fun part of the puzzle, which is a lot of fun about making art, is figuring out all the little nooks and crannies and the things that need to be done. I mean, this part I do all the time. It's routine for me. I do it in my sleep. But now with the rest of it, a new challenge, more fun, and it will be, I think, quite an attractive piece for the. In fact, if you step back, that's about where it's going to be. It's right down over there somewhere.
That's where it'll actually be placed. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Eric, for joining us today and telling us a little bit more about your art and about this project. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.